So today I wanted to give you some help if you've been suffering with lumbar spinal stenosis and how you can help improve the way you move and help potentially relieve some discomfort. Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Bradbury, family corrective chiropractor here in Georgetown, Ontario, Canada. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas on how you can help improve your quality of life if you're suffering with lumbar spinal stenosis, and some things you can do to help improve your day-to-day. So what I want to do with you is share with you a little bit of the anatomy so you understand what's going on a little bit more. And then I want to focus on some things that you can do, some positions of relief, find some stretches that you may find useful, and also some strengthening exercises. So we're going to begin by talking about the anatomy. So you'll see here you have your spine, your nervous system. The one area in particular we're going to be talking about today is your lumbar spine, and those of us with lumbar spinal stenosis. So keep in mind, you may be having challenges, the wear and tear, the narrowing of the canal, which essentially is lumbar spinal stenosis. So I'm going to share with you today how you can help yourself conservatively work around the challenge and get more out of your day-to-day. And oftentimes we spend a lot of time looking right here, and I understand, I completely get it. If we had a lumbar spinal stenosis, we'd probably be looking at this area too. But I want you to consider the areas above and below as well, and some things that you can do on your own. Now, one of the things that I think about is, first of all, those of us with lumbar spinal stenosis, we would want to typically avoid exercises that force us to hyperextend, or things when we lean back, because oftentimes that will aggravate things more. So one of the things that I focus on is finding positions of relief where you're a little bit more, you're from neutral to flexed, just to open up that canal space so that you're not aggravating your tissues as much. And now one of the things that you can focus on, right, and it's easy to get bogged down with the heaviness of the symptoms, I completely understand, and the challenges that they present. But I want you to think today about what you can do, because there's all these other things that are working for you. You just need to tap into them and help retrain your day and retrain your brain to focus on what's going right. So one of the things that I like to focus on is, if you have this challenge, first of all, focus on short, brief walks. Right, being up, movement's good. Movement can help change your whole life experience, and you can start by just simply walking for brief periods of time. Number two, if you've been diagnosed with lumbar spinal stenosis, a lot of the times I've noticed out of my experience, patients do really well with riding the bike. And you can be on a Concept 2, more like an erg leaning over bike. You can be on more of an upright bike like the Echo bike, the fan bike, or you can just be on your normal bike, whatever one you have at home. But the point I'm trying to get at is being in this position. First of all, exercise is going to be good for you, and also being slightly flexed over. This is one of those times that it's actually going to help open up the space. If you were to look down this hole of this spinal canal, it helps open up that space. So it's something that you can do. So I want you to focus on that today. And one of the things that I recommend to patients is at least 5 to 10 minutes a day on the bike, which will help retrain you. At least 5 to 10 minutes a day on the bike. And you can either use that as your warm-up. If you're already working out, use it as a warm-up for 5 to 10 minutes. Number two, treat it as your workout. Spend 10 minutes getting on the bike, because you'll probably find if you do 10 minutes and you actually say, I can do that, I can do 10 minutes, and you actually get on the bike, you'll probably find it leads to a little bit more time by default. So focus on riding the bike, moving more, and then getting out for short periods of time, doing your brief walks, loading your bones. Now, some of the positions of relief that I want to share with you. Remember I talked about having that slight flexion in that lumbar spine seems to be relieving for many of our lumbar spinal stenosis patients. So what I want you to do is actually just lay down on your back, and you may find if you in the morning, lay down on your back, or if you wake up like this, bring your knees to your chest and just do one of these and gently hang out, breathe. You may find that's a gentle way just to get yourself out of bed. And you may spend 30 seconds to a minute here. once you find things have gotten a little bit easier, I'll actually have you come up to the edge of your soft surface of your bed. This is a great routine if you're just getting out of bed in the morning, because many times you find that stiffness in the first, let's say 15 to 30 minutes as you get your joints warmed up and lubricated in the morning. So this is great for your morning. You're going to come up like this. Right? You notice how I got up, I let my legs fall off and then pushed up with my arm. Now what you're going to do is actually focus on stretching your glutes, because a lot of the times if you find some ranges in your hip, your body will find a way to move no matter what, to lean over and pick things up. And how I mean is that if you're constantly leaning over, you want to be using joints like your hips versus constantly flexing necessarily through your lumbar spine. So I'm going to help you loosen up your glutes, your hips, and you may find that makes your day-to-day easier as well. Now one really great stretch that I like to use with the glutes is, and you can do this on the edges of your bed or your couch, and when you bring your leg up, keep your spine nice and tall, and I want you just to gently lean over like this. So right now you're focusing on your glute muscles. You're probably feeling some tension through them, keeping your spine nice and tall, breathing. You may even put a little bit of flexion in your lumbar spine and lean over. And with this one, you're going to hold for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You're going to do both sides. And then what you're going to do, if you want to take it one step further, is one really useful tool that I like is actually getting out the foam roller. And now here today, I have a piece of ABS with some hockey tape wrapped around it. It's going to be a little more of an aggressive version. So you can start just with your simple foam roller, which you can purchase online somewhere, or simply at Walmart or at Amazon. And what you want to do is get it, and you want to sit on it through here, your glutes, and you also want to do the area above your thoracic spine. And here's why. So remember, we talked about movement above and below where you may be suffering from lumbar spinal stenosis. So you want to get great movement in your hips as well as great movement in your thoracic spine so that you can improve your quality of life and your day-to-day movement. So what I would suggest is you can focus on the foam roller through here on your glutes, but also remember the one movement I told you to avoid, or do your best to avoid, the hyperextension of the lumbar spine. Well, you're going to have to stand upright and extend somehow. So you may want to get a little bit more movement through your thoracic spine. So I'm going to teach you how to roll here and here. With this one, all you're going to do is hang out, and you can work up and down. You may find you have some really sensitive areas in your glutes, just stiffness, day-to-day activities. Focus on breathing. When you find one area that's stiff, hang out and breathe there. Wait until it gets a little bit easier. So you loosen up your glute, and again, I would do both sides. You may spend anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes on this side, and then do the other side. Now, I was mentioning finding that extra motion in your thoracic spine so you can extend, because you don't want to get it all in your lumbar spine, which may be aggravating to your lumbar spinal stenosis. So what you're going to do is get the roller just like this and come down, and you're going to start actually spending more time like this each day. When you're here, let's shift into position, and what I'll do is I'll actually put my hands over my head. And now one thing I'll do with this position is I'll bring my feet flat on the ground and my knees bent so I'm stable. And then what I'll do is hang out here. And one other thought process with having your knees bent and your hips more stable is you're less likely to hyperextend that lumbar spine, which may aggravate some of your challenges. So now I'm going to work on my upper back, and by my feet to control the motion, I can keep my lumbar spine neutral or slightly flexed, and I can work my way up, help to loosen up the areas in the upper back so you can find some extension and keep up with your day-to-day activities. Now, one key factor is also strengthening the tissues around. You want to build them up, because remember, if you just do the same thing over and over again, what's going to happen? You're going to get the exact same result day in and day out. So it's time to do something different. And you got to add some strength training to that routine to make sure your glutes, your low back is as strong as possible. Some of the simple things that I like to work with, especially when you have this challenge, are number 1, the bird dog, and number 2, the dead bug. And this can be a great part of your routine every single day, or you can use it as a warm-up when you're going to do your workouts. And it's a great idea if you do your workouts already, just stack these exercises, the bike, the bird dog, the glute stretching, the rolling, the dead bug, all with the workout, so that maybe it takes you a little bit more time to warm up and maybe you do less of what you're used to doing, but hey, you can feel successful and get something done that's helping you work better and heal. So while you're here, I would just simply focus on the basic bird dog. And you notice my shoulders are over my hands, my hips are over my knees. I'm going to kick out. I'm going to kick out, pause, and back down. Kick out, and back down. Now, simple exercise, but very key. Don't let your hips shift side to side. Hold onto the table or the surface, and really ensure that you engage your midsection and you're not doing one of these and twisting and coming back up and over. So kicking straight out, pausing, and then back down. And your legs should be level, parallel with the ground. That's the bird dog. And now when you come down here, I'm going to have you do what's called the dead bug. Now with this one, what you can do is just let the leg drop straight out. And the key here, one thing that I note, is if you drop the leg too far and your lumbar spine does one of these, your stomach goes to the ceiling, you may irritate the tissues in your low back. So what I want you to do is, before you go all the way out, I want you to stop right there before you hyperextend all the way down. So you're going to do what's called changing the length of the lever. So instead of letting your foot drop all the way down and your belly going up at the sky, you're going to stop just prematurely at that. And when you've done each leg, that's 1 rep. I would do 5 to 6 reps of the dead bug, as well as 5 to 6 reps of the bird dog exercise. Really focusing on cueing your midsection, keeping things stiff and tight, which if you learn to train your low back, your abdominal muscles, and all those small muscles, you're fine-tuning to help improve your day-to-day activities and make yourself more resilient. Now, as we finish up today, there's a couple key things I want you to remember. Focus on what you can do, because all too times we get hung up on the things we can't do anymore, but focus on all the wonderful things that you still can do. Things like short walks, riding the bike, building yourself a simple routine, and then compounding that, doing it every day, and building yourself up. Watch what happens in 6 months to a year. So focusing on what you can do, focusing on the strength exercises, and building yourself up so that you're more resilient and able to keep up with your day-to-day tasks. Also consider the health of your spine and nervous system. I know I've probably shared and mentioned it with you before, but in terms of our process in the office, in terms of biostructural correction, we want to know what's going on with this area. So sure, somebody may have lumbar spinal stenosis, but oftentimes you compensate above and below where things get stuck and don't move properly, which is going to slow down the way you move, may impact the way you heal and function, which are all key players in getting back on track and healing and thriving and living at your best. So one of the neat things is that we'd address all that information from here that travels all the way in your nervous system to your muscles, your organs, and you want that nerve irritation to be reduced, because oftentimes, sure, there may be nerve irritation down here, but there also may be nerve irritation up here impacting your health and your healing. And it's very key to have functional measures along the way, which I like to lean into, because oftentimes your natural healing process looks like this, where you take 3 steps forward, 1 step back, you have 1 rocky day, right? And essentially you're still building yourself up. It's just like stringing a series of workouts together over time. If you got yourself on a new workout regimen, it's not going to be workout number 3 or workout number 23 that does it. It's the cumulative effect of the 30 workouts over, let's say, 10 weeks that's going to make the difference for you and your health. So consider that today, and consider also you want to have checkpoints, and what I was saying is functional measures, because on days that you're not feeling it, you want to be able to look back and say, oh, I used to only be able to do 1 set of 5 bird dogs. Now I can do 2 sets, no problem. I would say that's a win, and that's a functional improvement in how you're moving and your quality of life. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Be sure to like, and subscribe if you enjoyed our content. And my one ask is that I have a big mission in terms of helping people understand their health better, and I cannot simply do it alone. So if you found this useful, please take a moment to click share, or just grab the URL and send it to somebody that you know would benefit from it. I truly do appreciate your help, and I hope you're having a great day out there. Bye for now.